babies, it's that time again. Oh yeah. As you can see, it's complete darkness out here. Got some serious cloud cover. So think about that for a minute. Cloud cover. Oh yeah. Sometimes it just looks bleak, right? There's no sign of lights. No sign of guidance. You're shrouded in darkness. You feel all alone, directionless. Oh yeah. That's where you meet God face to face. Hello. Oh yeah, baby. Just like that. I was talking to somebody recently, and I've been pouring myself into their lives for, we'll say, years. And it just got to a point where no real change is occurring. So I just said, I'm not going to be sending anything to you anymore. Because from here on in, it's just up to you and God. I've done all I can. So some of you might think, well, that's not very nice. Well, if I gave you the details, you might understand. But I'm not going to do that to protect this person. So, the good sign of it was they responded positively. Like they understood and they were thankful. Because I think they realize that it is up to them. They need to take a step toward God. And keep taking a step. And I think by just listening to me with my advice, and it might sound like a pep talk or some encouragement, but if you're not going to follow up on it, then it's really, I'm just wasting my time. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about with this cloud cover. I think oftentimes God wants to use what we're experiencing currently to inform our spiritual growth. Oh yeah, baby. And so the cloud cover, I think, is a good metaphor for the phases we go through sometimes, because we're putting too much of a focus and emphasis on what we think, what we want, what we think we need. And because that's where our focus is, it feels like we're under cloud cover. Because there's no light there. The light shines when we acknowledge the relationship we have with God, so that He can open our minds, show us the next step, give us some comfort, help us to take new steps of faith. Because think about it, without the cloud cover, you'd be able to see perfectly where you're going. But that's not where growth occurs. Growth occurs when we have to activate our spiritual eyes, not our physical ones. Hello. So every time we think, okay, the path is clear, I'm going to follow it now, something happens to let you know the path is not as clear as you thought. There is some new level of trust that needs to be learned, and it can only be learned in the context of mystery, or the absence of complete illumination. Now, of course, if you're like me, you're looking for complete illumination, because that's where all the peace is. And God is gracious. He will give us the taste of that. But I'm just telling you, don't be surprised when it disappears. Because that's your testing ground, that's your growth ground, that's your assignment, so to speak. And you might ask, well, what good is all this if I'm getting this test and then I pass it, and then I get another test and I pass it? What is it for? What it's for is the building up within us the very character, mind, and spirit of God, so that people have the evidence they're looking for that God exists. Oh yeah, baby. It's up to us. It's just like I said to this person I was ministering to. The next step is yours. And so that's how it should always be for us. We should always be looking at it like, okay, what is my next step? Because I want to be close to God. I want to have God's love. I want to have God's mind. I want to have clarity of purpose. And so the next step is always taken in the context of thanksgiving and trust. So we might not know all the details, and we might look at it like, well, if I knew the details, I could just follow those instructions. But like I said, you don't learn to engage in your relationship with God when you have a blueprint. But you do experience the beauty of the relationship within the context of a cloud cover or a mystery when you're doing it with thanksgiving and trust. Why? Because when you trust, you are giving God the evidence that we know He is loving, and all we have to do is act knowing His love is caring for us. That's how we honor Him. That's how we honor these tests of faith. that's how we grow, and that's how the world gets to see Jesus. Oh yeah, baby. Just like that.